Hello guys, what is up? Shizzy Dota here, your mid lane coach with Gamers Class. And today guys, I'm going to be bringing you a hero guide that is inspired by Topson's recent course. I've been watching this entire course, I've actually watched it and I've learned a lot. And I just felt like playing a lot of Invoker in my pubs after I watched the course. And I just felt like I should make a hero guide about it so you guys could actually learn more and play it in your pubs as well and gain some MMR. So without any further ado, I want to talk about this hero, why it's so strong, why Topson loves to play it, and why actually a lot of other mid laners love to play it as well. So overall, Invoker is a really high skilled hero, right? And the reason why most mid laners want to play it is because it challenges you, right? It's going to challenge you. The better you are at the hero, the better you feel good about yourself. That's how I see it, right? Every time I'm owning as an Invoker, I just feel like, I just feel great about myself. It's better than any other mid lane hero, at least for me. Let's say I'm owning a game as a Queen of Pain. I know it's a very standard hero, the Queen of Pain. It's not that hard to master. But Invoker, if you're owning as an Invoker, it just feels like you're much higher skilled, right? So that's why a lot of mid laners love to play this hero. And this is also why a lot of other mid laners should learn this hero if you haven't. Another thing is that most people don't know how to play Invoker, right? So this adds to your skill set. For example, if you're playing against an enemy mid laner who does not know how to play Invoker, he will never understand what your spells do, how much damage you're gonna do, and what your timings are, right? So if you master it, your chances of gaining MMR are gonna be significantly higher compared to other mid laners in your bracket.
If you like this kind of content, go to gamersguys.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
So overall, if I want to give you guys an understanding of how the skill build works on Invoker, it goes something like, this is for the Quasvex Invoker, by the way, just so you guys know. Skill build goes something like, you go 3 levels into Quas, 3 levels into Vex. Okay, that's a very standard build until level 6. You get Tornado, EMP, you use your combo, you use Cold Snap, and you just play around these 3 spells. If you're in a bad situation, you just use Ghost Walk and run away. There's another unorthodox build out there right now, which I don't recommend as much. I don't try it out as much as well, but it is definitely out there. And trying it out here and there doesn't hurt, which is something like 2 levels in Quas, 3 levels in Vex, and 1 level in Exort. You start with Exort, and then you get 1 level in Vex, then again Quas, and then you keep on maxing Vex and Quas. What this does is, the Exort helps you get Alacrity early on at level 2, which helps you secure CS. Since Quasvex Invoker does not have a lot of base damage. His base damage is around 52 or something, and it is very low compared to other mid laners. So that's something the Quasvex Invoker lacks, and the Alacrity helps him secure CS. But I personally just prefer going the full Quasvex build. I don't really like going the Exort build, but nonetheless, it is still something you can try. Item builds are quite diverse on this hero. You can actually go for a lot of item builds. You could buy phase boots on this hero, you could buy treads, both work pretty okay. I personally prefer phase boots. Then you could go into Urn, which would transition into a Vessel later on. You can also buy a Midas, since Midas is really good this patch. Yules, Drums, Agnums, Orchid, BKB, Hex. There's insane amounts of items that you can buy on this hero, and all of them work. Every single one of them, even Deso, Hurricane Pike, all these items are super good, and you have to buy them looking at the situation. If you need Silence, go for Orchid. If you need Disable, buy a Hex. If the enemy have a lot of tanky heroes, buy a Vessel. If the enemy have Silence themselves, buy Yules for yourself. If you're going for the farming game, buy a Midas. So you have to look at the game and see the game from that perspective and buy these kind of items. Just looking at how the game's going. Let's talk about the strengths of the hero. Quasvex Invoker. Quasvex Invoker is super good against low mana pool heroes or squishy supports. So let's say there's a Lion right? It's gonna be super good against the Lion because you're just gonna use your Urn on him from a far distance, hold snap him, put your EMP, and just kill him right there. Once his mana is drained, you just kill him. It's really good against low mana pool heroes like Anti-Mage, Faceless Void, Phantom Assassin. Any low mana pool hero you can think about. Doom, Sand King. All of these heroes get dumpstered by the EMP. And that's why Invoker is super good. Quasvex Invoker especially is super good against these heroes, and you can snowball early on. Another strength of this hero is that you have really good regen in the laning stage. That means you will not have to buy a lot of regen compared to other mid laners. If they harass you, you can just max up your costs and you will get a lot of increased health. You get the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 per instance as you add levels and costs, right? So eventually you're gonna have like 9 HP regen at level 2, and it will keep going up and up as you max more levels in costs. So you won't have to buy regen items, and it's gonna help your net worth a lot compared to other mid laners. Quasvex Invoker also gives a lot of disruption in fights. That means if somebody's running at your teammates, you just use EMP and Tornado and you just disrupt the enemy team from fighting. You can also just use Tornado to run away, use Ghost Walk to run away as well, and it's just like it's a lot of disruption in team fights. Quasvex Invoker is very hard to kill in the late game as well. With the Ghost Walk, with the Tornado, with all the items, HP regen, it's very hard to kill a Quasvex Invoker, and he just becomes a nuisance into the mid game and the late game. So that's all the strengths about Invoker, and obviously with strengths comes weaknesses, and let's talk about the weaknesses that Quasvex Invoker follows. Quasvex Invoker has low base damage for laning stage. That means there's chances if your CSing is not that good with the hero, you might get dumpstered by enemies who have high base damage, like Templar Assassin, like Shadow Fiend, who will get souls and have a lot of base damage. Any hero that has more base damage than you potentially can dumpster you if your CSing is not practiced enough on this hero. Quasvex Invoker's other weakness is that it relies on kills into the game. So Quasvex Invoker does not have any spells to farm with. Has a Tornado, but the Tornado has a long cooldown, around 35 seconds. So normally you go for kills to actually get items. If you're just farming, Quasvex Invoker falls behind compared to other mid laners like Ember, Queen of Pain, White Spirit, Shadow Fiend. These heroes farm way faster, and the Quasvex Invoker has to snowball into scaling into the game. So these are like some of the weaknesses, low base damage, relies on kills, not so good at farming, and it's not actually that much, I would say. If you can practice on these weaknesses, if you can understand these weaknesses before you start the game, I feel like it's overall a very strong hero. Let's talk about the talents. So the talents that you want to go for on Quasvex Invoker is at level 10. Obviously you want to go for the Ghost Walk cooldown because you want to roam around the map with Ghost Walk and have more movement speed. At level 15 you want to go for Cold Snap cooldown, so you can constantly spam your Cold Snap in team fights. At level 20 you can either go for Tornado as well, you can either go for Alacrity damage as well, depends. You go for Tornado cooldown if you feel like you want to make more moves in team fights with spells. You go for the Alacrity damage and speed if you want to enable your carry, which you normally and in most situations want to. Just Alacrity your carry, it helps you Roche, helps you Siege, helps your carry just overall have a higher impact. So I personally like to go for the Alacrity damage speed, but both of these talents are pretty good. At 25 you want to go for the Radial Deafening Blast, so you can potentially deafening 3 to 4 people without having a problem of clicking Deafening Blast like you normally have to click it. And in that case you can only deafening 1 or 2 people at most. With the Radial Deafening Blast you can potentially actually deafening blast 5 people, which is crazy good. So at 25 you almost always want to go for the Deafening Blast talent. So the conclusion of this video overall, I would say that Quasvex Invoker is a good hero and is super good at making space for the carry. You still do rely on your team on getting kills and making things happen, but it is a high-paced hero. If you master it, you'll actually leave your enemy in shambles. Thanks for watching, guys, and do let me know in Discord if you have any other questions, and I'll gladly answer them. Your mid lane coach, Dota, signing out.